Going, everybody. Today I just want to kind of show a trick. I wouldn't say a trick, but a really useful tool for when you're building N8N nodes. One of the biggest things I've used in my past development projects is the debugger. I think the debugger is like extremely valuable. With the debugger, you're able to place what are called breakpoints, right? These red dots, at least in my IDE, and I think you can do it in VS Code as well. What this gives you is the ability to stop the program or to inspect the program at this point. When it gets to that point, we're going to be able to inspect the program. We're going to be able to look at the variables, walk through the rest of the code from that breakpoint, and really figure out what's going on, what's being set where. And this kind of helps when there's a lot of moving parts and you really don't know exactly what it's doing. So to give you an idea of what this would look like, we'll go into the debug mode right now, and I'll show you how to set up this run in just a second. So right now we have our base process running. We're just going to go into my little setup here. You see here we got the workflow. We'll zoom in a little bit. All right. So we're coming into my Kubernetes node, and we're going to make them fetch to get events from my N8N namespace. So we'll hit test. And as you can see here, we're automatically pushed over to this breakpoint right here that's highlighted. So now we can come up, we can see that, okay, so now that we're going to execute that node section, and we can take a look at namespace and see what it was set to, N8N. Any parameters, any additional options, none. I just have the body here just as filler in case I need to change something. And then this is our base endpoint. And what we're doing is we're either going to get events from the entire Kubernetes infrastructure, or we're just going to pull it from a specific namespace. And so for this one, it's N8N, and we just need to adjust the endpoint here. So we go ahead and make the adjustment, and then now we need to call this response. So let's go down and move through this. So we can step over it, which is going to skip through this, or we can step into it. So let's just do a quick step into, and then we're going to step over this set here. And now we're getting ready to call the Kubernetes API request. So now we're just going to step over this. There's just a lot to it. And then we get to await. Let's see here. Take a look. Oh, you can see my key here. So now we can see like what parameters we're passing, just to ensure that this is set correctly. Let's go ahead and see some of the other options here. You can see this is a QS, which is a query string. So this is going to be attached to the end of it when it makes the request. And then we're making sure that we skip the certificate validation. All right. So now we're going to step over. All right. So now we can kind of see response data here. So we can see we have a collection of lists, and I don't have any events here, so it's kind of a bad example. But it allows us to really get an idea, at least, of what's going on or what's being created. So these are objects that are being created from that request. You can see here, there is response data, getting the response data, and we're just going to return that array. So that's it, I guess, for the example, right? So like, let's go back and take a look. So here's our returned results. And what's going to happen is this will churn for a little bit, or while you basically have the breakpoint set up. So let's go ahead and stop here. And then let's take a look at this N8N configuration that I have set up. And I'm using WebStorm. I think you can use some other IDs, but this is how I have it set up, at least for WebStorm. So we're going to come in here. pull this out. So I'm using NVM to manage my node versions. I'm using 20.8. I think it's old, pretty old. And then we have our base working directory, which has all of my repos that I'm working on, at least for Musa Labs. And when we go and install it, we're going to install N8N because we need to run N8N start. We manage that through npm. So once we have that installed, we know we want to run N8N to run the project. You don't have to run start here. I don't know why that's not the case, but if we needed to, we could just do start here. And then I've also created a custom, I've updated and created a custom script here called deploy. Let's go into deploy here real quick. This is going to be defined in our package.js file or package.json file. So what I've done for this is I've just copied the build, and then this is definitely probably just duct tape at the moment, but I cd into N8N custom, and then I run the npm link for this specific node. That just makes it a lot easier for me. I know that there's a way where they want you to kind of like build inside the .N8N directory inside the custom file, but I feel like it's super clunky that it's like that. But I don't know. I'm just getting started to work with TypeScript and Node. It's been a wild ride, but anyway. So yeah, I run this deploy first. So we go and we link that node, and then we call N8N start. And versus typing all the commands and whatnot, it's just one stop. I can make some changes and then redeploy, and then go and test my request again to see what kind of information I'm getting back. So I hope you guys all found this helpful. Let me know if you have any questions. I'll be doing more N8N development as I go along, and I'm learning N8N. So we have the Tavly node, and now we're building out this Kubernetes node where you can fetch events. And then I'm also looking for any other use cases you guys could bring up. So thanks, and let me know if you got any use cases. See ya.